8 foods that cause inflammation and pain in your body. Do you experience a lot of body pain, swelling in your legs, or swelling in your fingers? Have you ever noticed any correlation between this and your diet? Today, I'm going to talk about the foods that may be causing you to bloat, that may be causing you pain, and you haven't even stopped to think about it. We are what we eat, or better yet, we are what we absorb from what we eat, because it's no use eating food if it passes right through you without being absorbed by the body. So, we are what we absorb from the food we eat. Some people believe that food doesn't affect our bodies that much, right? I recommend eating a pepper, a Carolina Reaper, and see if you really don't feel anything, or if there's no effect on your body. Eat a pepper like that, and you'll start sweating, feeling hot, and it becomes quite obvious that food does indeed affect us, and it affects our health significantly. Depending on what you eat, you could be feeling pain or bloating because of it. Do you know someone who experiences pain or bloating that might be linked to their diet? Share the link to this video with them. It will certainly help. Today, I'm going to talk about the foods that most impact this and give tips on how to avoid them. Anti-inflammatory diet. Inflammatory foods can cause pain, swelling, and other inflammatory symptoms. Some foods are more likely to trigger these responses than others. Certain foods are very specific to each person. For example, when it comes to allergies, it's very straightforward, right? You eat something, and after a few minutes or hours, you have an allergic reaction and may even end up in the hospital because of it. This is your body reacting to a protein in the food. However, we can experience more mild inflammation that is less severe, but lingers chronically in our bodies. Chronic inflammation is known to contribute to most degenerative diseases. People often say it's due to aging, but it's really due to prolonged inflammation. So, what could be causing this inflammation? Just as there are foods that prevent oxidative stress, known as antioxidants, there are also foods that promote oxidative stress, which is our body's response to inflammation by increasing free radicals and ramping up the body's response to the irritation. We need to avoid foods that have this inflammatory potential and instead focus on foods that are anti-inflammatory. So, let's go! I'll share the 6 foods that could be causing inflammation, pain, swelling, and all those unpleasant inflammatory symptoms. 8 foods that cause inflammation and pain in your body. 1. Refined sugar. I've talked about the white powders that are destroying society before. In the end, we go in circles and end up back at the same point. The first food, without a doubt, is refined sugar. We might think, oh, sugar comes from sugarcane, and sugarcane has lots of nutrients and fiber. Yes, sugarcane does have these. Recently, I even had a drink sweetened with sugarcane. But when sugar goes through the refining process, nothing is left. No nutrients, just pure calories without any nutritional value. And if we eat too much processed, industrialized food, we're consuming sugar without even realizing it. You might think of sweet foods like cake, sweet cookies, biscuits. All the sweet things you can imagine have sugar. But what you may not realize is that sugar is also added to savory foods. For example, salty crackers have sugar too. A savory pasta sauce, for instance, will have sugar. So why is sugar so widespread in our food, especially in processed foods? Because it's addictive, because it gives a flavor that makes you want more, and it spikes your blood sugar. This blood sugar spike gives temporary satiety, but as soon as your blood sugar drops, your body craves more energy, more empty calories. This leads to overeating, which benefits the food industry by selling more products, but it's extremely harmful to you. Refined sugar causes inflammation through various mechanisms. I have an entire video explaining sugar's effects on our circulation, and it's shocking how much sugar we consume without noticing. It's important to learn how to read food labels and check how much added sugar is in them. The solution to avoid this is to make your own food, choose healthier, more natural foods, and eat less processed food. For instance, in the case of sauces, make your own. That way, you can control what's in it and choose healthier ingredients. Use more herbs, more spices, and less salt and sugar. When you can't avoid processed foods, make sure to read the nutritional labels and see how much sugar is in them. That way, you won't be deceived. 2. Refined carbohydrates. But sugar isn't the only problem. Carbohydrates in general, once they enter our bodies and are broken down, turn into sugar as well. Refined carbohydrates in particular are stripped of many nutrients and often go through chemical and industrial processes that remove anything beneficial. This doesn't mean all carbohydrates are bad. We need to seek out more complex carbohydrates, which are rich in nutrients and take time for our bodies to break down and turn into energy. Carbohydrates that are already in an easily digestible form are nutritionally poor and very similar to sugar, causing that same blood sugar spike and creating the need to eat more soon after. Refined carbohydrates generally cause inflammation, swelling, and joint pain. The solution is to replace them with more fiber-rich carbohydrates that aren't as detrimental to our health. Carbohydrates play a vital role in our diet, providing energy for daily activities and essential nutrients for our body's proper functioning. However, the quality of the carbohydrates consumed is crucial for maintaining health. Refined carbohydrates, like white bread, pasta, cakes, and cookies, go through refinement processes that strip away most of the fiber, vitamins, and minerals, leaving only the starch. This type of carbohydrate is quickly digested and absorbed by the body, causing spikes in blood sugar followed by sharp drops, which can lead to feelings of hunger shortly after consumption. Moreover, excessive consumption of refined carbohydrates is linked to several health problems such as obesity, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, and cardiovascular diseases. These foods can also contribute to chronic inflammation in the body, which is associated with various conditions, including joint pain and digestive issues. On the other hand, complex carbohydrates found in whole grains, legumes, vegetables, and fruits are rich in fiber, vitamins, and minerals. The fibers in these foods help slow digestion and carbohydrate absorption, providing a gradual release of energy and avoiding sharp blood sugar spikes. Additionally, fiber promotes satiety, helping control appetite and body weight. Therefore, to maintain a healthy and balanced diet, it is essential to prioritize complex carbohydrates and minimize the intake of refined carbohydrates. Opting for whole foods like whole grain bread and pasta, brown rice, quinoa, oats, and sweet potatoes is an excellent strategy for reaping the benefits of carbohydrates without the negative effects of refined ones. Also, it's important to watch how much carbohydrate you consume, even from healthy sources. Excessive consumption, regardless of type, can lead to body fat accumulation and other health issues. 3. Salt. The third food that can cause inflammation, pain, and swelling is another one of the white powders destroying society: salt. Sodium is highly correlated with hypertension, atherosclerosis, and vascular diseases in general. Often, people experience leg pain, swelling, and wonder where it's all coming from. Many times, it's from the diet, or it has been from a lifetime of poor eating habits, and now they're reaping the consequences of decades of poor choices. You need to know what's right to avoid regretting it later on. Excessive salt and sodium are harmful to our health. While we do need sodium for our metabolism to function, we need very little. With today's processed foods, people are consuming far more than necessary without realizing it. Sodium intake should not exceed 2 grams a day, but people are often eating 2 to 3 times that amount because processed foods contain a lot of hidden sodium as an additive. Salt causes fluid retention, swelling, inflammation, and can cause pain both in the short and long term. So, how can you avoid too much salt in your life? First, read the nutrition labels on the back of the foods you buy. But more importantly, avoid processed and industrialized foods, which will certainly have salt added. Cook more at home so you know exactly what you're putting into your food. Choose more natural foods so you're peeling more and unwrapping less. That's a practical and excellent tip. Reduce how often you go to fast food places and snack bars, as they pile on the salt and sugar. Additionally, be mindful of foods that are naturally high in sodium, like cheeses, deli meats, canned goods, and some types of fish. Even though they aren't processed, these foods can significantly increase your sodium intake. A healthy alternative is to explore the use of herbs, spices, and natural seasonings to enhance the flavor of your dishes, replacing salt. Options like garlic, onions, lemon, pepper, parsley, cilantro, and other fresh herbs can add a lot of flavor without the need for excess salt. It's also essential to stay adequately hydrated. Drinking enough water throughout the day helps flush out excess sodium from the body and maintain fluid balance, reducing bloating and swelling. Adopting a healthier lifestyle with a balanced diet and regular physical activity also helps prevent the problems associated with excessive salt consumption. Even gradual changes in these habits can significantly impact your quality of life and prevent chronic diseases. 4. Gluten. The fourth food that causes inflammation is also part of this group: wheat flour, gluten. Gluten is a protein found in wheat, barley, and rye. Some people are extremely intolerant to gluten, as in the case of celiac disease. Celiac disease is very serious. Those with it cannot eat gluten at all. But many people have a certain sensitivity to wheat and gluten and don't realize it. They continue to eat gluten because it tastes good, but gluten is really just an additive in food. Gluten acts almost like glue, giving food its texture. I've even seen pre-seasoned meat that contains gluten. Why would meat have gluten? They probably put it in the seasoning to make it stick to the meat. You can check it out. It will have high sodium and a bunch of additives that might taste good, but are extremely harmful to our health. I've seen people with celiac disease who are highly intolerant to gluten, and it's clear how bad it is for their health. But there are many people in the middle who also suffer from gluten and don't know it. Gluten causes a certain amount of inflammation in the intestinal wall, and this chronic inflammation leads to various diseases derived from chronic inflammation, like diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, and more. Gluten has been linked to headaches, body pain, and fatigue. More research is still needed on people who don't have gluten intolerance, but may still suffer from its effects. It's important to pay attention to your body. Eat and observe how the food affects you over the next 36 to 72 hours. This is very important. Furthermore, it's essential to read the labels on processed foods, as many contain gluten as an additive, even in products that are not wheat-based, such as deli meats, sauces, and ready-made soups. Choosing more natural and less processed foods is a way to reduce gluten consumption and avoid its potential negative effects. For those who wish or need to avoid gluten, there are healthy alternatives like rice flour, almond flour, nut flour, and coconut flour, which can be used in cooking. Grains like quinoa, amaranth, and millet are naturally gluten-free and can replace cereals that contain this protein. It's important to note that eliminating gluten from your diet should be done under the supervision of a health professional, especially in cases of celiac disease, to ensure a balanced diet and avoid nutritional deficiencies. For most people, moderate gluten consumption is not an issue, as long as it comes from natural sources and not from highly processed foods. 5. Alcohol. The fifth food that causes inflammation, if we can even call it food, is alcohol. Alcohol causes inflammation throughout the digestive tract. It's a harmful substance. We use alcohol gel to kill germs, and yet we put it inside our bodies. Alcohol kills our cells in a way, and the body has to work hard to break it down and eliminate it. Alcohol also causes bloating and is toxic to our bodies. It turns into empty calories without any nutrients. Despite being socially accepted, alcohol is a drug that harms the body. The more you drink, the more damage it causes. Excessive alcohol consumption is linked to numerous health problems in both the short and long term. In addition to inflaming the digestive tract, alcohol can damage the liver, the organ responsible for metabolizing and eliminating toxins from the body. Chronic alcohol consumption can lead to liver diseases like fatty liver disease, alcoholic hepatitis, and cirrhosis. Alcohol also negatively affects the cardiovascular system, increasing the risk of high blood pressure, stroke, and heart disease. Additionally, excessive alcohol intake is linked to a higher risk of developing certain cancers, including cancers of the mouth, throat, esophagus, liver, colon, and breast. It's also important to recognize that alcohol can affect mental health, contributing to the development of disorders such as depression, anxiety, and substance dependence. Alcohol consumption can interfere with sleep quality, impairing rest and the body's recovery. While moderate alcohol consumption may be tolerated by some people, it's crucial to be aware of individual limits and listen to the warning signs from your body. For those who want to reduce or eliminate alcohol from their diets, there are healthier alternatives like non-alcoholic beverages, natural juices, and water infused with fresh fruits. Moreover, it's essential to seek support from family, friends, and health professionals when trying to reduce or quit alcohol consumption, especially in cases of addiction. 6. Soda. The sixth food that could be inflaming your body without you realizing it, and it's extremely common, is soda. Whether diet, light, or zero, all sodas contain many chemicals in addition to sugar, which was already mentioned as the first inflammatory food. Sodas have dyes, chemical substances, phosphoric acid, and other components that you can read on the nutrition label. Diet and light sodas, for example, contain chemicals to enhance flavor, and in many cases, a lot of sodium. I wouldn't even classify soda as food because it's a chemical product that we ingest, altering our gut flora and chronically inflaming us. Soda has been linked to obesity, diabetes, and hypertension. Nowadays, there's no reason to drink soda. It's almost an addiction, and the industry includes exactly what you need to keep wanting more. So, what's healthy? Drinking water. Water is extremely healthy. Sometimes I hear people say they don't like water, but that's a mistake. Water is odorless, colorless, and tasteless. It doesn't have a taste. And if you think you don't like water, it's because you're used to sweet drinks. You can substitute soda with teas. There are many healthy teas available. 7. Natural juices. Now, are natural juices really that healthy? Many people switch from soda to natural juices, but juices also contain sugar, specifically the fructose from the fruit. People strain the juice to remove the fiber, which is actually the healthiest part. You end up drinking juice from 5 apples, which is an absurd amount of sugar. Which is worse, juice or soda? It's hard to say. So, be very careful with natural juices. They can be healthy, but in moderation, and while keeping the fiber intact. It's important to emphasize that, although natural juices are a healthier option than sodas and industrialized juices, they should still be consumed in moderation. The fructose in natural juices, when consumed in excess, can contribute to weight gain, increased triglyceride levels, and insulin resistance. Furthermore, when the fiber is removed from fruits during juice preparation, an essential component for health is lost. Fiber helps regulate bowel movements, promotes satiety, and helps control blood sugar levels. Without the fiber, the sugar from the fruit is absorbed more quickly by the body, causing blood sugar spikes. A healthier alternative to juices is eating the whole fruit. By eating the fruit, you retain the fiber and other important nutrients while consuming less fructose compared to juice. Another option is to make juices that include low glycemic vegetables, such as cucumber, celery, and leafy greens, to balance the amount of sugar present in the fruits. If you choose to consume natural juices, it's advisable to limit them to small portions, preferably accompanying a balanced meal to reduce the impact of fructose on the body. It's also important to avoid adding sugar to the juices and, whenever possible, keep the fibers from the fruits in the preparation. 8. Processed and cured foods. Now, the 8th food that could be causing inflammation without you realizing it is processed and cured foods. These foods contain several chemical additives, preservatives, a lot of sodium, and saturated fat, which all lead to inflammation in the body. Processed foods like sausages, salami, bacon, and ham undergo curing and smoking processes that involve the addition of preservatives like nitrites and nitrates, which have been associated with an increased risk of cancer, especially colon and stomach cancer. Furthermore, these foods are rich in saturated fats and cholesterol, which can contribute to higher cholesterol levels and the development of cardiovascular diseases. Processed foods such as chips, cookies, instant noodles, and ready-made meals often contain high levels of sodium, sugar, and trans fats. Excessive sodium consumption is linked to high blood pressure and an increased risk of heart and kidney diseases. Trans fats are known to raise bad cholesterol, LDL levels, and lower good cholesterol, HDL, increasing the risk of cardiovascular diseases. In addition to harming cardiovascular health, processed and cured foods can contribute to chronic inflammation in the body. This inflammation is associated with several diseases, including type 2 diabetes, obesity, autoimmune disorders, and even some types of cancer. To reduce inflammation and protect your health, It's essential to limit the consumption of processed and cured foods and opt for healthier alternatives. Choose fresh, lean meats like chicken and fish, and focus on minimally processed foods like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes. When choosing industrialized products, carefully read the labels and choose those with fewer ingredients and no chemical additives. So, those were the 6 main foods that could be causing inflammation, joint pain, leg pain, and swelling, all resulting from an improper diet. Eat real food, avoid processed foods, open fewer packages when you eat, and spend less time in the processed food aisles at the grocery store. A healthy diet is the key to a long and quality-filled life. Did you like our video? Don't forget to share it, send it to all your friends, and stay tuned for the next best video we have for you to watch.